This is example 6 from lesson R.5. This equation we're supposed to solve by using the quadratic formula. And the quadratic formula is the favorite of a lot of students because it will solve any quadratic equation, whether it has real solutions or whether it has imaginary solutions. It's just a matter of memorizing the formula. And the formula is x is equal to the opposite of b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, and all of that is divided by 2a. But that only works if your equation is in standard form. The standard form is the ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. So what we need to do to this equation is we need to fix it so that it falls into that form. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to distribute this x into the parentheses here. That's going to give me x squared minus 8x, and this is equal to 3. Now remember I said that it needs to be equal to 0 so we can use the quadratic formula. So let's subtract the 3 over here to this side. None of these are like terms, so we have the quadratic equation x squared minus 8x minus 3 is equal to 0. Okay. Now, I like to label the coefficients so I know what to plug into the formula there. So a is the coefficient on my x squared. That's going to be positive 1. B will be the coefficient on x. In this case, it's going to be negative 8. We do want to bring that sign with it. And then c, this is the constant term, the one with no x. And in this case, it's going to be negative 3. All right, so I'm ready to put it into my formula, and I'm going to come up here where I have a little bit more room. All right, so x is equal to the opposite of my b coefficient, which was negative 8, plus or minus the square root of b squared. And be sure you have this in parentheses, because if you don't, it's going to give you a negative 64 when you square it. Minus 4 times my a coefficient times my c coefficient. And all of this is going to be divided by 2 times my a coefficient. All right. So let's simplify this a little bit. 2 negatives cancel out and make a positive. So you have positive 8 plus or minus. All right, let's see what's going to be under the radical sign here. We're going to have 8 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 3, and that looks like it's going to give me 76. All right, so we've got 8 plus or minus the square root of 76, and then 2 times 1 is going to give me 2. All right, so we can't divide the 2 into the 8 because we don't have a coefficient out here in front of the radical. But what we should do is come off over here to the side and see if 76 has any perfect squares in there. Now 76 is an even number, so I know 2 is going to go in there. And 2 will actually go in there 38 times. And again, 38 is an even number, so I'm sure 2 is going to go in there. And 2 goes into 38 19 times. Now 19 will not break down any further. But I do have a pair of factors. So that means the square root of 76 can be written as 2 on the outside and then 19 on the inside of the radical. All right, and now I'm going to use my factoring the GCF out technique so that I can cancel this 2 on the bottom. So let's see, we can take a 2 out of both of those. That's going to leave me with 4 plus or minus the square root of 19 over 2. And now I can cancel those 2's out because now they're both factors. So that means the solution to the problem is going to be 4 plus or minus the square root of 19.